From the Ministry of the Presidency in Georgetown, this is This Week with the President, with Janelle Carter.
Welcome to another edition of This Week with the President, a weekly news magazine which provides you with an in-depth look at the policies, programs, and work of the President of Guyana in his quest to realize the good life for all Guyanese. I'm your host, Janelle Carter. In the news this week, Guyana is seeking Commonwealth's declaration in support of border issue with Venezuela. President commissions Damara Bank's new branch, and the President becomes patron of Scout Association. President David Granger has taken a strong message to the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Malta regarding the security of small states, particularly in light of the resurgence of Venezuela's aggression. The Commonwealth heads are set to consider and ratify a declaration in support of Guyana's stance on this issue.
Traditionally, at least over the last 30 years particularly, the Commonwealth has been one of the strongest voices in the international community about the rights of small states, not only in terms of environment, but also in terms of security and economic vulnerability. So, in fact, this is the best forum that we could have hoped for to advance Guyana's case as a small state, especially with regard to our territorial security. Yes, this is a very important forum for us.
Additionally, issues such as climate change, the viability of Irokrama, domestic violence and other social ills, and immigration policies are also on Guyana's agenda. President Granger had indicated that Guyana would give its full support to Antigua and Barbuda nominee Sir Ronald Saunders for the post of Commonwealth Secretary General. He said Guyana regards Sir Ronald as a friend of the Commonwealth and Guyana. However, on Friday, November 27th, Baroness Patricia Scotland was unveiled as the Secretary General designate, a press release from the Commonwealth said. Although she was nominated by her home country, Dominica, critics regard her as a London nominee as she is a peer and held a senior cabinet post in the British government. She will be the 6th Commonwealth Secretary General and the first woman to take up that post. On November 25th, the President and First Lady departed Guyana for Malta to lead Guyana's delegation, which includes Foreign Affairs Minister Carl Granger and other officials in the high-level deliberations. President David Granger says his government is prepared to partner with all financial institutions to implement appropriate policy measures to promote greater financial inclusion. The President made this commitment when he declared open Damara Bank's new $800 million facility on Camp Street. In outlining the administration's vision for the local banking sector, the President first acknowledged that Guyana's financial system was not spared of implosions faced by financial institutions in other parts of the region. Hence, the administration is working to implement policies that are firmly based on the pillars of stability, integrity, flexibility, and security.
Increased access to banking services everywhere in Guyana is an important goal of this government. There is a special responsibility of those involved in financial intermediation to ensure greater access to banking services for the greatest number. Access to savings, according to the IMF, has increased investment and consumption, while access to credit has increased entrepreneurship and reduced poverty. Financial services provided by commercial banks must therefore become more inclusive if they are to contribute to the economic and social goals of our government and our nation.
The government also proposes to discuss with bankers the implementation of a deposit insurance scheme to ensure that individuals who hold deposit at failed financial institutions would be compensated up to an agreed amount within a specified timeline. In addition, with regard to integrity, President Granger pointed out that there is the need for commercial banks to zealously guard against illicit funds finding their way into the financial system.
Money laundering is associated with distortionary effects on the economy, and we've seen that. Illicit funds can undermine the integrity of the country's financial system, thereby exposing the country to sanctions. That is why, Madam Chair, one of the first acts of our government was to pass the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Act. And I readily assented to that. Our government remains committed to doing everything necessary to remain compliant with the requirements of the Financial Action Task Force. We look forward to the vigilance of commercial banks and of our regulatory bodies to prevent the contamination of our financial system with dirty money.
Meanwhile, congratulations were in order for the bank by Minister of Finance Winston Jordan. He commended the management of the Mara Bank for its efforts in adopting a modern approach to energy conservation by investing in energy-efficient devices.
From its sole head office at 230 Camp Street and South Road, the bank has now expanded with a total of 6 branches countrywide. Since its inception 21 years ago, the bank has emerged as a prominent institution on the local commercial landscape in this country. For not only has the bank grown through physical expansion, but a perusal of its financial performance over the 5-year period 2011 to the present has shown that gross assets have increased significantly. And by the end of September of this year, profits had increased by 57%. The performances of these critical banking indicators are well above the industry's average.
The $800 million facility, which is located at Lot 214 Camp Street, will now be the bank's new head office and corporate banking branch. On November 12, 1994, Dr. Yusuf Prasad established the Mara Bank Limited, but the idea had been conceived since in the late 60s. Though it was incorporated on January 20, 1992, it was granted its license to operate in March 1994. Construction of the bank commenced at that very month, and on November 12, 1994, it was declared open by the late President of Guyana, Cheddi Jagan. The annual lighting of the Christmas tree at Rahamans Park, Houston, has become a much-anticipated public ritual that started in 2005 as a private sector venture. On Friday last, 10 years later, the event has become a permanent fixture on the Tourism Ministry's annual calendar due to the overwhelming response by the public.
For many of us, this event here heralds in the Christmas season, and arguably, this is the biggest Christmas tree light up in Georgetown. And why do I say that? I say that with confidence because this tree, as you heard, is over 30 feet tall and is decorated with more than 3,000 lights and a huge crate full of decorations. We did this for the children of Houston, Eccles, Rheinfeldt, Meadowbank, Rome, Agricola, and further down the East Bank corridor. And we do this for all Guyanese, wherever you are, because we know you will travel to and from this area.
Come this side, buddy.
As Guyanese gear up for the year-end festivities, President Granger called for peace and urged families to spare a thought for the sick and less fortunate.
Charity encourages us to express ourselves through the values of caring and sharing. Christmas reminds us that the flame of faith never extinguishes. It reminds us that good will always prevail over evil. It's a theme that runs through Christianity and Hinduism and Islam, that good will prevail over evil, that right will overcome wrong, and that peace will triumph in this world.
The Rahamans Park tree lighting ceremony was initiated by prominent members of the corporate community, the Rahaman family. They are now joined in this venture by other private sector companies such as Giftland, Banks DIH, Pretty Bossing Investment, and Damar Distillers Limited, in a generous effort to spread holiday cheer to children, particularly those living along the East Bank. As a matter of policy, the government of Guyana has been prioritizing investments in the country's human capital. Apart from the delivery of quality healthcare and education, these policies are designed to create much-needed opportunities for the youth population. It is against this backdrop that President Granger recently announced an increase in the annual subvention for the Scout Association of Guyana from a mere $120,000 to $1.2 million with effect from the fiscal year 2016.
Because I believe that giving the Scout Association of Guyana money is an investment. We must invest in human development. We must invest in youth. We must invest in the next generation. We must invest in the future. This is an investment, and I'm proud to be here to announce this investment to you.
President Granger was invested with the title of Patron of the Association and was presented with Scouts' national scarf. On my honor.
On my honor.
I promise.
I promise.
That I will do my best.
That I will do my best.
To do my duty.
To do my duty.
To God.
To God.
And to my country.
And to my country.
And to keep the Scout law.
And to keep the Scout law.
I now present you with a scarf of the Scout Association of Guyana, which formally makes you a patron and a partial scout of the Scout Association of Guyana. We hope that we will someday see you in a uniform looking like this. Thank you, Mr. President.
The president said that the Scout Association has a proven track record of successful mentorship of young people, helping them to develop the right values, attitudes, and skills.
If you don't make the correct choices, your lives could be affected forever. Young people like you at this time of your lives need advice and guidance. You need to be equipped with the skills to help you to make the correct choices, the correct decisions. You need to learn the right values so that you can make those right choices. And this is the best place to learn those values, to learn standards. Values that you learn here will take you through your lives.
President Granger's induction as a patron comes at a time when the association is celebrating its 106th anniversary under the theme, Together We Achieve Greatness. This theme embodies one of the significant pillars upon which President Granger is building a new Guyana.
We believe that the Scout Association of Guyana is a model of social cohesion that can be seen in our association and our Scout troops around the country. We also believe that we have a lot that we can offer to the nation as we work to build a more cohesive society. We firmly believe that with His Excellency David Granger as our patron, we will be able to explore more opportunities to contribute to building this cohesive society and leave a legacy for the nation's youth.
The Scout Association of Guyana is the largest and oldest youth organization in Guyana. It was established in 1909, 2 years after Scouting was founded in England. Guyana was the first country in the Caribbean to establish Scouts, the second in South America, and the 9th in the world. When we return, we'll take a look inside the President's diary. Do stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. What does the President do all week? Let's take a look inside his diary. On November 23rd, a group of students from the Barometer Primary School visited the Ministry of the Presidency and met with President Granger during a tour facilitated by PAHO local office.
We from the Pan American Health Organization decided to bring them here for many reasons. One of them is to help build their self-esteem, because we keep telling them, irrespective of where you come from, irrespective of where you were born, you can make it. You can perhaps even become the President of the Republic.
The same day, the President was paid a courtesy call by President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Sir Dennis Byron, who explained that it is protocol for him as head of the CCJ to visit countries that have ceded to the court's appellate jurisdiction when those countries have elected a new head of state. Sir Byron is the second person to be appointed to the office of the President of the CCJ. He was sworn in September 2011. He was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II and was appointed a member of Her Majesty's Most Honourable Privy Council in 2004. On November 24, Brigadier General Oberton Potty and Colonel Benedetto Ramo of the Brazilian Army met with President Granger to discuss areas of military cooperation between the two countries.
The military cooperation now is the main cooperation that we have between the two countries. We have Guyanese students from GDF in Brazil. We have Brazilian instructors here in the jungle school. We recently have donated equipment for the school, for the training of the military. So the President or the General here and the meeting with the President want to show how important it's for us this cooperation.
For regular updates on the Ministry of the Presidency, go to our website www.motp.gov.ui, like our Facebook page, Ministry of the Presidency, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MOTP Guyana. I'm Janelle Carter. Do have a safe and productive week ahead. Goodbye for now.